Hello everybody, my name is Ilya.
And my name is Tyler. Together we make up Kovray, a couple that loves to play roll and rights.
Roll and rights!
Wow! Look at that big die. Five. Weak.
Well, today we're going to be telling you about 10 new roll and write games.
10 new roll and rights.
And maybe one honorable mention.
One honorable mention. Because it's new to us.
It is new to us.
Well, all of these games are new to us, and that's why we're talking about them.
Exactly. 2 years ago we did a roll and write month where we talked about over 50 roll and write games. So, and then we've kind of kept up the series with 10 more new ones, 10 here, 10 here. And we're actually close to a pretty big milestone.
100
We've almost played 100 roll and rights. And you know when we do, there's going to be some special stuff that's going to come out.
Celebrate. Celebrate.
I think we only know one other person who's played over 100.
I'm sure there's more people out there. If you love roll and rights, then hopefully this video is for you.
Exactly. But without further ado, we're going to give you a little bit of rundown of what these games are, what our experience with them was, what we think of them, show you the pretty games in their glory, and at the very end we'll tell you our favorite of the bunch.
Our favorite of the bunch.
And does it maybe compete in our top 10 list?
We'll have to do a new top 10.
We will, once we hit 100.
Maybe.
Alright,
let's get to it.
So forewarning, I do have a cough. I think I'm a little bit under the weather. So if you see any abrupt cuts in this video, it's because I'm either coughing or sneezing. So yes, that.
Can confirm.
Well, let's kick it off with our honorable mention. Let's get it out of the way.
Out of the way.
So our honorable mention is
Long Shot.
So this one's from Perplexed. The reason it's an honorable mention is because this one did come out almost a couple years ago now. But it took us, we just could not, it was never in our stores, it was always sold out, and we finally managed to buy a copy, and I loved it.
Yes, it's a lot of fun. It's like horse racing, but with dice. And the randomness, the luck, the anticipation, the buying of horses, it makes for a good time.
Yeah, it has a lot of various elements that a lot of other roll and rights have, but the thematic integration of it being a horse race and you betting on horses and seeing how many monies you can score by the end of it is really fun. And another really good aspect of this game is you can play, I think, with up to 8 people.
8, yeah.
8 people.
Yeah.
So it's a good game to get out for a larger group, and you're bound to have a good time in long shot. It's not a long shot that you'll have a good time.
Yeah, that's out of the question. If you like roll and rights, long shot will be fun. But that's our honorable mention. Let's get into the list.
Now, in no particular order, let's jump on in.
The order is literally whichever one is in front of me and I feel like grabbing.
Which is?
Next Station, Tokyo. What? Next Station Tokyo is designed by Matthew Dunstan and it's published by Blue Orange Games. This is the sequel to Next Station London,
which was nominated for the Spiel des Jahres Award last year, which is a really prestigious award.
Yes.
And this game lives up to it, that's for sure.
Yeah, so what's a little different in this game if they've introduced like another card that allows you to actually like draw in parallel with other tracks, which is a lot of fun. You can now have 5 stations meeting each other. You're still only drawing with 4 colors, but that's because they've put a 5th color in a circle basically around the whole map, separating it into different sections.
They've already done some work for you.
But some of the game is, or this game is played exactly the same. You'll flip until you've flipped a certain number of green cards, and then that's the round. You'll move into the next round, change colors, and it's a lot of fun. It's a bit more puzzly than the last one in my opinion, but I don't think it's too far off from the original. My point being is, if you liked Next Station London, you can pick up Next Station Tokyo if you're looking for a bit of a change, but I wouldn't say you need it in your collection.
It's a really fun game. I really enjoyed Next Station Tokyo, and if you're not familiar with either of the games, what you're essentially trying to do is you're building transit lines around the city, and how you are in which districts you're in will score you various points. So you have to plan really accordingly. But the tricky aspect of the other game and this game is the interchange station. So Tyler mentioned you're able to cross all 5 colors into one, which is really hard to do, but there's a big payout if you do it. But a lot of this game is just balancing between what can I do to get the most from my points? Because there's quite a lot of variety, and this one adds even more, like Tyler said. But I think I enjoyed Tokyo more than London.
Oh, I think I just have like Next Station London has a special place in my heart. So Tokyo had to do something almost unachievable to take that away from London.
Oh.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So that's Next Station Tokyo. On to the next game.
Now the next one I want to talk about is Mission Control Critical Orbit. So this is from Third World Studios, and it is designed by Corey and Delora and Donnie Coleman. Now in this game, it's pretty clever. One of you will be the mission control player.
Yes.
That is the player that is trying to get enough oxygen in order to win the game. Yeah. And this is a cooperative game that you're trying to play together. The other players will take roles of various countries that are doing various things to support that player. The roll and write is the core mechanic of this game. There's polyomino placement for that main mission player, but everybody else is playing mini puzzles essentially to help them. And it's really fun. It's a really cool take on a cooperative game too. It's also real time, so everything you're trying to do in 20 minutes. Yes. So it kind of speeds up those decisions. It throws in that thematic sense of like a mission control. We don't have a lot of time. We got to get the oxygen.
Exactly.
But we played this at 2 players, so one of us managed 2 puzzles and the other one did the others. I think it'd be better at 4 or more, a higher player count. Well, we also didn't use there's AI cards that you're supposed to use with a lower player count, but we were bold and we're like, we can do this.
It was hard.
It was hard, but we did succeed once. And it was a lot of fun, and I think it's a game that it feels really different in this genre.
Yeah. My favorite part about this game actually is the fact that it's timed. I think that it fits with the theme, but it's also, this different piece that I haven't seen a whole lot happen in roll and writes. And the puzzles are fun. It's different for every player, and at the end of it all, like, you either did or you did not, and that's kind of nice when it comes to...
And we did not.
Exactly. It is nice when it comes to cooperative games. You either succeed or you do not, and there's always an endpoint.
And that's Mission Control Critical Orbit. You're next.
I am next, and we're going to talk about this garden game called Horticulture. It's designed by Last Night Games, and it's a brother duo, Nate and Jack Jenny. I believe that's how you say their last name. But Horticulture, you're designing this garden space based on the cards that are flipped. So this is always a flip and write. On each turn, what you're going to do is flip over 2 cards, and whoever is the main player will select one of the cards, and everybody else then has to draw the card that was selected onto their board. And what you're trying to do is connect like pairs, or like groups I should say, because there's like a carrot and they all need to be like 4 is a group. There's trees, and that's 1 is a group.
Well, you decide which is a group, which size of the group. Because in the beginning of the game, you're able to decide.
No, that's your extra bonuses that you get.
Oh,
yeah,
I forgot.
So you'll get extra bonuses, which is what's unique about this game to me. Is at the start of the game, there's a set of 3 bonuses, and then almost like a connector bonus that you yourself get to choose, and then it's delegated to like yourself, and then somebody else gets their own. And I think that's really neat because you can kind of like gamble yourself through a way of hoping to get a certain thing, and then it also motivates you in determining what cards you might want to pick, which I found very convenient because sometimes if you get like stuck and you're not sure what you can take, you can always look back at your goals and be like, this is the one that's for me. But smooth game. I think it was very smooth. It runs really well. And I did enjoy the scoring aspect to it. I wanted to be able to fill the garden, because you don't get to fill the garden. So I was a little sad there. I can understand what's happening, but other than that, it was okay.
Yeah, I feel the same way. It was an okay game. I think the part that I enjoyed the most was the variable setup, because you really drive that setup. It's not what the game is going to tell you, because even like the path that you draw out, you decide as a group which way you want it to go and how you want it to start. And in choosing your own fruits and vegetables and the plants, how you want them to be situated, and the bonuses, I think is really clever, because then not everybody is the same. Like Tyler said, one player can choose one card that may benefits them, but other players don't really benefit from it. So that tactical decision making is really interesting. But I think I wanted a little bit more from this game.
Yeah, me too. That's it. That's horticulture, though.
That is horticulture.
And we'll move on to the next one.
The next one I want to talk about is House of Cats.
House of Cats.
So this one is designed by William Attia and Christian Outsby, and it is published by Porter Games.
Mm-hmm.
This is a roll and write where you are building cats.
Building a house
for cats.
Yeah.
And depending how the cats interact with mice, depending on the rooms that you build, you score various points.
Mm-hmm.
There's 4 missions in this game. There's different ways to play each of the missions, and I found it really fun. I think this has been one of the games that has really appealed to me. I think it comes in a really clean package. You know what you're doing in each of the games. The strategy of it is really interesting and how you weigh it out, and it has that crunchy feel I like in rolling rights where each decision does matter in the long term, but you can still do multiple things to get to where you want to be. Mm-hmm. And the variety of the dice roll, the quality of the fun dice and the cats and the mice, I genuinely enjoyed this game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we did a review of it.
Review.
Yeah, review. You can check it out to learn a bit more about the game if you're interested. But like Ilya said, it's got, or actually I don't even know if you mentioned this, it's got this unique thing with the abilities that you're able to unlock during the game that always change, and sometimes there are very good abilities that only cost having a 2-room completed. Other times they'll cost having a 5-room completed. So the variability there is like pretty heavy, and the amazing part about that is it's still the same game. You just have to decide yourself, like the risk of maybe building a 5-room to get that ability, or like just staying with the smaller rooms. My only qualm with the video, or with this game in particular, was the theme.
With our video.
With the video, with this video that we were making. The theme was lost on me. I think the cat and the mouse and the house thing is like great, but I also didn't understand, like, there was just a disconnect. So because of that, I think it left a little lower, I don't want to say subpar because I still think it's a good roll and write, but it was not as good of a roll and write, I think, because of that disconnect for me.
Tyler's just a dog person. He doesn't get cats.
No, the first one is basically the rat or the mice are more important than the cats.
Yeah,
but
because you have to put the mice in the house first and then feed them all the cheese, get them plumped up, and then you send the cats in, and then they eat all the mice.
That is very not clear if that's actually
I don't know.
That works.
It feels pretty clear to me.
So,
but that is House of Cats.
All right. Next we have a race type game that I want to talk about. It's called Roll to the Top.
Roll, 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 roll to the top.
What's the next part of that lyric?
Don't know.
Anyways, Roll to Play is published by All Play, and it is designed by Peter Oustra and Cornier van Moorsel. So, basically in this game what you're going to be doing is you've got a bunch of maps, which is part of why I think this game is so great, is you've got a lot of different maps that you can choose from, but every player will play the same map. You'll start by rolling a said amount of dice, and basically you need to place low numbers at the bottom and build your way up all the way to the top. Roll to the top. So the trick here, though, is that in order to build higher, you have to have the numbers underneath it, or the boxes underneath it that are attached to the box here, they need to be filled in, and they have to, of course, be lower than what you are putting up here. So the trick is like, do you want to risk taking a number and slowing yourself down from getting to the top, or do you want to take some numbers and hope you roll properly? And then the interesting part about it is there is this other die that when you roll it, it will give you like certain symbols, which means you add a die or you take away a die or other variety of things, like you get to swap out dice. And there's a D3, a D4, a D6, a D8, a 10, and a 12. Oh no, a 10 and a 20.
Oh!
There is 5 dice. I don't remember what denominations they are, but it goes from 4 to 20. So something in between, a 6, maybe an 8, and a 12, perhaps. But
There's no D12.
D12. Why does that have an 11 on it?
Oh, I think it is a D12.
Yeah.
We are bad at die today.
Yeah, die. Anyways, the point being is those dice will help you when you get to the higher parts and also when you're at the lower parts. And then you can also kind of like manipulate it and force like maybe some other people to take higher ones or lower ones and get themselves kind of like stuck. So that's always exciting to see. And then it's a race, of course, to the top.
I like how simple it is. I think it's one of those games that you can get to the table, play right away, and play again. And with the variety of maps, with how inviting they are, you can visit all sorts of areas around the world and have a lot of fun rolling all the way to the top.
Yeah, exactly. Pretty straightforward, and it's fun being able to play a variety of maps that offer a variety of challenges.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, that is Roll to the Top.
Okay, the next one I want to talk about is Clever Forever.
A fourth one?
The fourth one. So like Tyler said, this is sequels to.
I think it's a saga.
A saga?
Yeah. It's technically...
a chapter?
Yeah.
A progression into the world of Clever series.
Mm-hmm.
So like Tyler said, this is the fourth one. And essentially all these games are games where you roll dice, you try to optimize and score the most possible points through the various mini games or areas that you can put those dice in. Now, I particularly like this one, and I'll tell you why. The reason I like it so much is because each of the areas actually has decision making within them that almost elevates it. I feel like in the other games you just put that number in and then you're done. But here, in each one of them, you have to really decide how you're going to put that number in.
Yes.
Like in one of the sections, for example, you can do add this to my score, subtract this to my score, or just plain points, and you're trying to fill in rows. While other sections, you, based on the value of the dice that you put in, you put a different amount, you potentially score more points. So I feel like decision-making this one is elevated significantly. I also feel the scores in this one are typically higher, and I love those high scores. That's always a good time.
I don't know about higher, because you can get like a lot of points in these games.
You can.
A lot.
And I think that's why, like, part of the joy on them as well is being able to score that many more points. But overall, I feel like every one that's come out of these games, I may still enjoy some of the older ones better, but I've never been like, this has been a miss. And I feel like this is not set for this one either. No. It was a hit. I really liked it. I would play it again. I want more. What's the fifth one going to be?
Who knows?
Clever 5 ever?
Clever 5 ever. 5 ever clever.
High 5. Clever me.
No. This game, though, is a roll and write. That's all it is.
It is.
And I love that. There's not necessarily a theme involved here. It's roll the dice, do your thing, and make it happen.
Score those points.
I will say that I think I'm the opposite of you, where I wasn't so keen on the decision making that you had to make in the mini games. I think a lot is going on already in these games to then add a decision of maybe where I should put these dice.
Well, clearly you're not like, clever forever.
Well, I'm not saying that they were tough decisions, but like at the very tail end, it was like, oh, I don't want to lose points, so I'm actually only going to put like the ones up here. And it seemed like intuitive what you needed to do, but at times like maybe it's more beneficial to take the bonus and then take the minus points or whatever it is. So it was interesting to like make those decisions, but it also felt like it was a push, an intentional push, because I think it's supposed to like grow as you get farther into the saga or series, I guess. And it did a good job. I just think maybe it was a little much for me, and I wouldn't recommend starting with Clever Forever.
Too clever.
Yeah, it's go back to the original.
Start Clever first.
Yeah. Clever first. That's not one.
No, that's pretty clever.
Yeah. What? Well, I only have 2 left.
Okay.
And the next one I'm going to talk about is Number Drop.
Number Drop.
So this game is published by AEG, and it's designed by, oh gosh, I'm looking at the wrong people. Yeah. It's designed by Florian Saru and Benoit Turpin. And essentially, this is Tetris meets roll and write, I guess. I say that loosely because there's a game that is a roll and or a flip and write that is literally Tetris.
Bricks.
Yeah. But on your turn, or I guess during the turns, somebody's going to roll a set of dice, and there's going to be numbers on them, and a shape. Oh, wait, yeah, a shape.
One of the dice.
One of the dice is a shape. And you have to draw that shape and use the numbers that are there to draw that shape. It's your decision how you want to place the numbers, but what you want to do is make consecutive numbers, so like straights, or you want to make groups of numbers. And then when you do make those groups of numbers, you check off boxes. The more you do it, or the more variety that you do, you are able to do that. So you want like one group of 2, one group of 3, so on, and then you want a straight of 3, a straight of 4, 5. But as you're going through, you're going to build your Tetris board and fill it up. And the shapes are always going to be 4 blocks. You have to kind of like plan ahead, but you also don't know what the dice is going to happen. And then, of course, there are advantages to racing for certain things, because then you can almost force people to miss their turns.
You send them bad blocks, X's.
Yes, yeah. And we don't want X's because you score points for completed rows.
And sometimes X's help those completed rows, though.
That's
but
true.
they
That's
lose
true.
your opportunity on the numbers.
Yeah, they block
which is
you
what's
off
tricky.
on things. Yeah. And then you play until somebody can't play anymore, and then you tally up your points and see who has the most.
Like Clever Forever, I like the simplicity of this one. I feel like it's very easy to just roll and go and drop those numbers, and people are very familiar with what Tetris is.
Yep.
And this is like a good little take on it, and it's fun. I like the clean design of it as well.
Yeah, it's got a retro vibe too, so I think it like very much aligns with that Tetris feel. So I can't say much more about this game beside the simplicity of it makes it a great roll and write, and would definitely recommend checking it out.
Okay, my next game here is My City Roll and Build. So this is designed by Rainer Knizia and it is published by Cosmos. And essentially what this is it's a re-implementation of My City, the board game, into a roll and write.
Yes.
Now, I really enjoyed My City. And when a roll and build in a genre I love came out, I was a little bit skeptical because I'm like, how are they going to do this? How is this really going to work?
Ooh.
But dare I say, this has been a phenomenal experience. It really takes that essence of that roll and build, condensed into the small box, and lets you really experience the multiple chapters in such a fun way. There's a lot of different twists that the original game did not have as well. And what's really cool about it is how you place the buildings. Because you have these 2 dice, you roll them, and you connect them on a little circle that matches up, which means you can create variety of polyomino shapes. And I think that alone is just extremely clever. I don't think I've seen that in any other game, and it's just such a clever utilization of that mechanic that I'm surprised I've not seen that in any other games. And whenever I feel that, I always think it's a really good game. Beyond that, last things I'll say too is the chapters are very fun. The scores progress throughout the whole. There's 4 chapters with 3 episodes in each of them, so there's 12 different maps that you can play on. You can choose to go through the whole campaign, or you can play your favorite maps. There's a ton of sheets in there, so you're not going to run out. And if you do, it's a pretty affordable price point that you can just buy it again and keep playing, or laminate one if you really want. But I had a great experience with this game. Tyler crushed me, but I did manage to win some episodes.
Yeah, this game is fantastic. I'm going to say this. You can get rid of My City and get this. I'm not saying that's what you need to do if you're a collector. I understand you want both. But in my honest opinion, they're close enough that I think you can just have one. And if I was to push it even further, this takes up less shelf space. So I would recommend this. Of course, that does not mean I don't think the original My City is a great game. I think it is fantastic. I just thoroughly...
That's just even a higher compliment.
Yeah. I just thoroughly enjoyed the experience of playing this game. It felt like the same as playing the My City game, but it was streamlined, it was quick. The shapes are repetitive, but they're not so repetitive that you've got them all on the side of your board so you maybe can tell what's coming. I thought that was very nice. And then of course just, again, it's a small box and it fits so nicely just like where it is. And with the campaign, it makes it easy to be able to reset, to do a specific chapter, to do a specific level. Yeah.
I usually wouldn't agree with that statement for roll and writes and board games, but this time I do.
Nice.
I feel like this game captures everything in that game. I think the only thing that I would like is just more episodes. But
Yeah,
that
that's
means
fair.
My City Roll and Build 2 can come out, or there's potential more. And there are mechanics that this one introduces that the original does not.
And there are familiar mechanics that the original introduces that are still implemented in this.
So, great game, My City. Can't wait to play My Island now. We're just cruising through.
Yeah, it'll be good. All right. I feel like this video is filled with a lot of games that, or
sequels?
maybe half games that are sequels. Yeah, because the next one I'm about to talk about is a sequel, and that is Get on Board Metro, Paris and Rome. Actually, it's just called Get on Board Paris.
It's
and
Roma.
Roma, Paris and Roma. Yeah. So this one is designed by Sashi. It's published by Aiello, and it's a transit game. So basically on your turn you get to flip over these tickets, and the tickets will reveal a certain number...
Shape.
No,
It's a
it
number.
will correspond to a shape on your specific piece of paper.
And everyone's shapes could be different.
Could be different. And then the cool thing about that is then you get these transit roads that you get to then place on the group map. Depending on the player count is what map you'll play on. So it's either going to be Paris or Roma. And you go and you place your tracks. So the advantage of being the first player here is like you get to place your tracks first, and then everybody else then goes in turn order and places their own tracks. But along your travels, you're going to want to be picking up certain people, visiting certain areas, and maybe passing through certain like checkpoints, and you'll fill that out on your personal board and scratch them off based on what you're able to do, and each different person, different location has like a different scoring effect that will happen. And of course you have to be careful because as the game progresses, you run out of certain shapes, you end up having to cross paths with certain people and sometimes you can't even get away with that just based on some of the rules that are implemented.
Traffic's bad.
And of course, you want to be able to make sure you get the right amount of people, because sometimes getting an odd number of a certain scoring person may leave you short a few points, I suppose.
There's some familiarities with the first one, but there's some new ways that people are scored in different ways. They're introduced in the game that allow you to experience the game in a different way. This is, to me, one of the most perfect balances of production in a roll and write. Because sometimes I feel a roll and write is very much of like pen and paper, and it almost loses some of the magic. But here, you get a nice like thematic tickets and a nice board. So like it has a beautiful table presence, but it also has a really clever way that I enjoy the roll and writes through the various almost mini games with the different passengers, various ways to score points, the tight decision making between what you're gonna do. And I really enjoyed the first one, so this one was a really intuitive. I'm going to likely enjoy this one, and I did.
Yeah, there were certain things that they actually I want to say learned from the first one and then implemented in this one, and then it works out a lot better in my opinion. The other thing that I just remembered actually is the tickets. So if you are familiar with like the graphic design and the production of the other tickets where they've got like punch holes in them, this one is different because you're on a train.
They just tear them. Because some people tear the tickets, and some places they stick. It's just a different thematic touch.
Yeah, and I thought that was very clever. So just like these small little pieces, it doesn't feel like necessarily a flip and write because you've got that route builder in the middle, which I think probably deserves a bit of praise because it's like a nice little clash of mechanics, and whenever that happens and still able to like shine through with the flip and writes and the reason why we're talking about it today means quite a bit.
Exactly. And let's get on board. The last game on our list is Your Best Life.
Your Best Life.
So this one is from WizKids, and it is designed by Yaniv Kohana. And essentially what you're doing in this game is you are living your best life. Now, I wanted to bring out the player sheets because I wanted to look at them as I reflect, but also show you because they're very fun.
You are building your best life of the character you've created in this game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this is the only roll and write I know that you can actually play either family single by yourself against everybody else, or you can play as a couple.
Yeah.
So you actually can do, it's a team-based game where we could be playing against another couple and we're just trying to figure out our best
Or
life.
we could actually just be playing against the rest of the people could be playing like a single. So it's kind of a neat
you get to kind of choose how you want to do it. And it is up to 8 players, so there's quite a lot of player variety in this game as well. But what you're doing is you're building a whole character and building a whole life in it. And it's through cards of flip and right, so there'll be cards that are flipped and different investments that you can make in a variety of ways that you can live. There's going to be stressors in your life, so you're going to have to balance stress and joy. You're going to try to figure out if you want to invest in friendship or romance, education, creativity, business, career. And then you have to make a lot of tough decisions. Like, do you want to buy a home? In this market, no way.
No way, Jose.
Do you want to get vehicles? Do you want to go on vacations? Do you want to have kids? Because if you don't finish your kids by the end of the game, you're going to lose
finish
points.
your kids by the end of the game.
So there's a lot of really fun thematic aspects, and I think where this game really shines is the theme. Because even by the end of it, there's variants in this game that you can tell the whole story, and you can invite other players to like your big milestone events.
Yeah.
And I think I really want to play this more because every time we played it, it's been so funny to observe how the decision making and the narrative really comes together. But then it's still a roll and write with the whole puzzle element of like trying to score the most points by being the most strategic and balanced in your whole life as you possibly can.
Yeah, I think actually my favorite part about this game is like you start off by making this character and then you can lean into it quite a bit. And for example, like you could be like, oh, I'm going to focus on getting an education because maybe my character is a lawyer and that's the career I want to follow. I mean, it doesn't really have anything to do with the game when it comes down to it, but if you lean into it, it's a lot of fun to be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do these business things because I think it would be good for me, or no, I'm gonna maybe not focus on my romantic relationships and focus on my friendships because that's where I am in my life right now. And it's just like this back and forth of you can actually really like get into your character even just from the sheets, and you can also get everybody else into your character by these things. They're basically like social media posts, and then they end up being like, oh, I like this, and because they liked it, you get rewarded for it. So there's like this incentive to like do those things, but maybe there isn't incentive because I don't want to like a photo that will make my like education level go up or whatever it might be, because I'm just like, maybe I'm maxed in that, or maybe I'm content with how
You're
educated
too
I am.
educated.
I don't need a PhD, but props to people who have PhDs. But I think, yes, that's my favorite part. You can kind of lean into this character you've built, and yeah, it's one of these games where you're drafting from the center, or not drafting, but uniquely choosing the cards that are in front of you, and if you match up with somebody, hooray, because that's always fun.
And that's your best life. Are you going to live it? So that's 10 games.
10, well, and honorable mention, so 11 technically.
Out of the 11, which one?
We're including long shot?
Sure, is your favorite.
Okay, well,
Does that change
unfortunately
it for you?
it doesn't, or fortunately it doesn't change my decision.
Oh, you could have left it to suspense.
Or maybe.
Okay,
does.
well, I have a gut feeling that it might be the same one.
I am fairly confident it's the same.
Should we do a 3, 2, 1?
Sure.
3, 2, 1.
My
City.
City.
I knew it. It is honestly, I'm going to say it's definitely going to be one of my favorite games of 2023. It's
Yep.
definitely making that list.
It's up
I
there.
think it's one of the best if not the best roll and write implementation of a board game that I've played. When I've played both, because I haven't played all the both.
I feel like I personally would not leap to say that because I haven't played both.
Okay, well, Tyler's going to have to play more. But out of all the ones I've played so far, I'm going to say that. Because, I mean, we're both even eager to replace it. Yeah. Although we won't, because it has memories. And I'm a sentimental person who's bad at culling games.
I would. It's because My City is basically a legacy game. I guess you can play like
there's the evergreen version. Where's the evergreen version in Roll and Build?
There doesn't need to be because there's a bunch of paper in there.
That's
Anyways.
True. Replayability.
Yeah. Like we said already, this game is fantastic. I think it's fantastic. I think it's fantastic.
Fantastic, fantastic, fantastic. 10s across the board. Highly recommend. Gold star.
Yeah. I really like the dice is what I really want to say. I think the clashing or like connecting of them by that dot is very clever. I just really enjoyed going through the campaign and playing through.
I would not be shocked if that becomes like a really key mechanic in a bunch of other games in the years to come.
I think it's clever.
Like, I think it's a very clever and smart mechanic, and there's so much you can do with it because it doesn't have to be shapes.
Dice
you can match up.
You can literally just play a dice builder with that.
Very cool stuff.
Yeah.
Now, that is our video. If for a question of the day, what is a roll and write that you've played that you've enjoyed recently? Bonus points if we have not played it yet, because we're trying to get to that number 100.
Yes.
So tell us about maybe upcoming ones that you're excited about, or something that you've heard of. We always love
older ones, because there are some older roll and writes that we have not been able to get a hold of. Would love to be able to find, and also we love roll and writes.
We do.
We always want more. We're always looking for more, and it's been a lot of fun.
Now, last thing we'll do is we do have a giveaway winners that we have to announce. This was for Tyler's birthday.
My birthday!
We were a little bit delayed. Both of us were a little bit sick, so it's been put off. But nevertheless,
we do have a winner.
We have winners. Winners. We're giving away 2 games.
Right.
So we had a Legacy of You giveaway and a Wayfarers of the South. Tigress. He always says it wrong on purpose.
And now I say it wrong on purpose, yeah.
Rude. So the winner for Legacy of You is... And the winner for Wayfarers of the South Tigress is... Thank you so much for all the birthday wishes for this birthday boy.
Yes, really appreciate it. Thank you for helping me celebrate it in the way that I wanted. And hopefully, congratulations to the winners. Hopefully you enjoy your games. We'll reach out to you shortly.
We will. And thank you so much to Garfield Games for sponsoring the giveaway. We're really appreciative of it. Now, that is one long video. If you stuck around, Tyler has a joke.
Ha 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 ha. Joke inserted here. That's it. That's all I've got. I don't have any jokes.
Well, he'll come up one for next time. But check out the next video to see if he tells us a joke. And if you enjoyed this one, hit that subscribe button, hit that thumb up. We are really appreciative of it.
Yes, thank you so much, and we will see you in the next one. Bye!